I saw yesterday a number of Kenyans, including activists, have issued threats, have issued directions, advice, the usual busybody activists across the country. I've seen them all the way to Mombasa yesterday. This is undermining the spirit of East Africa community. Kenyans should know, and more so the busybody activists should know, that the East Africa integration is on trade and economy. We do not have a political integration or confederation of East Africa. So the internal affairs of Tanzania should be handled by the people of Tanzania and their government. And that is what the East Africa community process and the community that we have. So we should respect Tanzania because they are an independent country, they are sovereign, they should handle their internal affairs without the interference of busybody activists in Kenya. And if these activists feel that they should be more Tanzanian, they can take the Tanzanian citizenship and go there and push for what they intend to push, because that is the essence of being a citizen of that country. Secondly, under Article 2.6 of the Constitution 2010 of Kenya is very clear that the relationship between countries should be independent and distinct and mutual because of the nature of the treaties that we have signed, the engagement conventions we have signed with other countries. The people who are now gaslighting issues of demonstrations in Tanzania, who are Kenyans and more so the busybody activists, are gaslighting them, not aware that most Kenyans are doing balance of trade. We are doing trade with Tanzania, and you can see the volume of trade is humongous, and many Kenyans are living in that country, even in terms of education. So they should stop. But I realize if they were courageous enough, they should stop issuing press conference in Kenya and do it from Dar es Salaam or somewhere in Dodoma. So they should, if they are courageous enough, they should go to Tanzania, take the citizenship, and then issue those directions from Tanzania, not from Kenya. Because Kenya, we are peaceful. Kenya, we remain steady and focused going into the future. Number 3 is, while we appreciate that the issue of democracy, the issue of human rights, the issue of the running affairs of the country, the independence and the sovereignty of that country should and must be respected. So I want to appeal to the activists that if they are courageous enough, let them issue those issues. Finally, is to call upon the media, especially international media. We have seen people or international media, and you know these are Africans. It is shocking that some people who are Africans are busy using international media to paint black Africa. So if Africa and countries of Africa are painted black, where will you go back to? So there are people who are working with the NGOs, international NGOs, both in Kenya and Tanzania and East Africa, because they are envy and jealous of the peace and tranquility in these 3 countries in East Africa. And they are busy trying to report negatively about Africa and more so East Africa countries, especially Tanzania. You saw one of the international media houses. I have never seen them doing a documentary on how Tanzania has so many national parks, on how Tanzania has beautiful wildlife or wildlife migration or wild beast migration in Mara. But when they get any negative news, it is headline in international media. But even the sad part is the people who are doing those stories speaking are our brothers and sisters who come from these countries. And you know the perception, you go to the West, that Africa is not peaceful, Africa is not developed, is because our own people have, on the behest of international media, are painting black most of these countries. And I think that is the essence. I hope in future, some of these journalists, your colleagues, especially who work internationally, should one day do a documentary about the Big Five in East Africa, about the balance of trade in East Africa, about the sports and athletics in East Africa. Why is it that we must report the negative? And it is not that America is a safe haven, or Britain, or Ukraine, or Russia, or any other country in the Europe. In fact, there is more worse than what we are having in this in Kenya or across even East Africa or across Africa. So I really want to appeal to the media, both international, that they must be very responsible. We don't want to gaslight, and some of this reporting is not even verified by authorities. You saw in Tanzania, when some of the media houses reported, it was not even verified. They didn't check the records with the government. And that's how you verify the information. We are not saying media should be suppressed. We are not saying media should be undermined. We are not saying media should be threatened. We want the safety of media. But the media also must be responsible, especially when they are reporting international. So in a nutshell, as we wish the great people of Tanzania and the government all the best in the Independence Day, let Kenyans and busybody activists just either go and issue those press conferences in Tanzania if you are men or women enough, instead of issuing it from Kenya. They are threatening the relationship between Kenya and Tanzania, and we benefit through trade and education.